recording this, so you guys need to be quiet and paying attention and focus. I forgot to record it last period, and there are a lot of kids that are absent. So, this is your first time being recorded.
We should say hello to the recording.
Everybody say hello.
Hi.
Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to fold this in half both directions. Go ahead and take one piece of paper. You're going to fold it in half both directions. You're going to put your name on it, and then you're going to set it aside. Okay? Just because nobody can see it on the camcorder, I'm going to mark mine. I'll put Miss Smith, because that's who I am. Okay. Putting that off to the side, and I think I'm going to end up zooming in here in a second. You can do it. All right. I would like for everybody here to have no pencils in your hands and just like push everything away from you. Let's have nothing in your radius of circle. Let's fold our hands. I want everybody's bodies facing the front. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to learn about how to find and use vanishing points, horizon lines, and also how to decide. Basically, we're learning how to use references to figure out our final project. Okay? So what we need to do to figure this out is investigate what we're looking at. Ayla, this is for you for 220, so just keep your eye on the time to grab it, which is in 5 minutes. So, okay. So what I want us to learn right now, let me go ahead and zoom this way further in. It's looking good. All right, so what we're trying to learn how to do is sketch with perspective. Everybody following me? That's like been the goal this whole time. We already know the rules of perspective. You could hop out with a ruler and figure it out anytime you want at this point. But for right now and where we are in the year, we are trying to learn how to sketch with perspective. Kai, this is for you. And Sierra's not here, so. Kai Kimmer?
Yes.
Here you go. All right. So, hopefully that's the last interruption. Are you guys ready for this? What I've done here is I've put some examples of fantasy art inside of Procreate so that we can figure out where in the world things are. Okay? So I've got my pen tool. I'm going to maybe make that, no, whatever. Let's make it a little bit thick. Whoa, whoa. Calm down, Anaya. Studio pen. Is that what I just did? Oh my goodness. We'll go technical. Sure. Okay. Let's get rid of all of that. No more. Okay. So what we're trying to figure out for our final project, last class I gave you guys a final brainstorming worksheet. Okay? Now normally when we have a brainstorming worksheet in our class, we go from our thumbnails into a proof. Everybody figuring that out? However, the problem with us this time around is that when we imagine things, it's not always in perspective, right? It doesn't always follow the rules of perspective, how we imagine it. In fact, sometimes the references that you're going to find online, they look really good, but they don't actually follow the rules of perspective, okay? You might find an amazing like design for what you want to replicate, but it might be a one-point perspective. You might find the perfect building, but you maybe want to move it around in the world and not put it below the horizon line. Maybe you want it above the horizon line. So you guys have to learn how to master this idea of understanding where the vanishing points and the horizon lines are. Okay? Now, how many vanishing points do we have in 2-point perspective? We have 2. It's right in the name. 2 points on where? Where do those 2 vanishing points always live on? The horizon line. Now, what does the horizon line separate? Earth from sky, or ocean and sky, not mountains. Okay, mountains come out of the earth. Everybody follow me? Just like a tree isn't the earth, it comes out of the earth. Just like your building is going to do, it's going to come up out of the earth. Everybody follow me? So when we're looking at this image, if it's drawn correctly, we can see where the sky turns into ground. Everybody following me? Let's check it out. What do you guys think? It's kind of hard to see here if these are mountains in the background or if they are like clouds back there. But let's just guesstimate. Let's say that like right here, remember hills go above the horizon line. Everybody following me? What if I had put my horizon line right at the top? That is too thin, you guys. That is too thin. Oh, I can fix that. Silly me. I put my horizon line up here. What would all of this be right here? That'd be like a hole in the earth where I can see the air. Everybody following me? So that does not work. So let's say that this is where I think it is. Well, I have to check. Okay, and how I'm going to do that is if I take this horizontal line, all horizontal lines go where?
To a vanishing point.
To a vanishing point. Where do where do the vanishing points live?
At the end of the horizon.
At the end of the horizon line. So what I can do is I can take two different, like if I'm really good at making straight lines, let's assume that's good. And I take this one here, wherever they actually intersect with each other is going to be where that vanishing point is. I can do it on this side as well. This is going to tell me where this vanishing point is. I can take it right here. So actually, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't really check out. I'm just going to tell you guys. I could take this one here. So I'm imagining that the horizon line is somewhere right about where I'm doing, but I just don't have a ruler. Does that make sense to everybody? Everybody feeling me? You can find it yourself. Now let's go ahead, get rid of that one, and turn on this one. Okay, so we've got some horizontal lines here. We can see in the back where literally there's sky in this image. Looks like there's mountains. Are mountains, does that tell you where the horizon line is? No, because the mountains come out of the earth, right? But the bottom of the mountains have to be on the earth. So it's going to be somewhere in that zone, okay? So what I want to do is I want to follow all the horizontal lines as far as I can, as best as I can. And where they intersect, that is going to be the vanishing point. And what is the vanishing point always on? It's always on the horizon line. Okay, now the horizon line is always perfectly across the image. Everything else, you want to break up your horizon line. You want to make it not flat because that's boring. But that just means that you have stuff in front of it. Everybody following me on this? Okay, let's try another one. Okay, now this one's a little bit different. Okay, on the last one, let's go look at that last one. Well, for whatever. On this one, what part of the building am I seeing the most of? Well, I mean, other than the top. Are we looking mostly at the top or the bottom? It's a top view. Do you guys see how it looks like in this image? Like we're like maybe on like this area looking down at the image. It's not like this looks very far away from us. Everybody following me? So let's check it out. Let's see what happens. When I come in here and I take this horizon line, let's assume I can draw a straight line-ish, and I take this one, it's going to go there, and I just want to double check it because I'm not really, there's one there. So it's somewhere in this region right here, okay? So that means that the horizon line is actually right up here. Everybody following me? So in this image, this image compared to the last two, notice how the horizon line is very high in the world. When it's high in the world, it looks like we're looking down at it because the majority of our view is the ground. Everybody following? Okay, let's try this again, but opposite. Well, let's skip this one. Let's go to this one. Okay. This is the same exact thing, except that it is the opposite situation. Well, it's the same exact thing, actually. Sorry, my bad. In this one, we can clearly see where the horizon line is. Everybody see that? If you have water, if you have ocean, it's always going to be correct. Okay? So if we look here, oh dear, let's see if this is actually drawn in proper. This is, you guys, this is actually not using good, because look at this. So whoever drew this is not in the rules of perspective. Because where this would interact, it would actually be all the way up here. So what that tells me is that this digital artist drew the house and then popped it in a background. Does everybody follow me right now? So I feel like I just debunked this artist here for all of us today. You're welcome, internet. Did you see that? But it's glorious. It's wonderful. It's still, because it is fairly high, this is just a little bit lower than it should be. And I can really tell because where I interact, like it's going to be somewhere over in this area. Those two check out a little bit better. But truly, this one should be coming down a little bit more to be on that horizon line. Okay? Let's check another one out. You guys are being great. Now this is the exact same thing but opposite. Okay? So notice, this is the first time we've had a house here, or a building, where what part of the house are we seeing for the first time? We're seeing the bottom of the house. Now the only reason that we see the bottom of this house is because it's suspended off of a cliff. Yes, Ava.
Isn't that from a series of unfortunate events?
I don't know if it is, but it looks like it's from Series of Unfortunate Events.
Because there's a house like that.
Yeah, there totally is. There's a few stories with houses like this though. But notice in this area right here where it's on the rock, notice you can't see the bottom because the rock's in the way. Okay, so if we check this one out, we've got all kinds of horizontal lines here. And let's check out this one. It's probably going to be like almost even lower than this whole. I think it's going to be like way down here, you guys, this horizon line. Because those lines are still pretty parallel there before I started curving them. So I think the horizon line is way down here. Now notice that when the horizon line is low, we can see up toward the house. It looks like we're low in the image. Is this making sense to everybody? Now those are the most dramatic examples. I want us to check out some less dramatic examples, but maybe this one's a little bit on the difficult side. Okay, so let's just start by observing the bottom half right here. My hand looks crazy. The bottom half, I can see the roof very easily, correct? Everybody see how the roof is very visible on the bottom? But on the top, what part of the top is very easily accessible? It's actually the floor, the bottom. So what that tells me is that the horizon line is somewhere in between. Which one do I have on? So let's check it out. And I can't really tell here. I can take it here. So it's looking like it's probably right in this area. Everybody makes sense to me? So notice the bottom of the house here is below the horizon line. I cannot see it. But because this tree house is suspended so high in the air, I can see it. Is this making sense to everybody? This is crucial because your vanishing points, you're going to create a world, but the images that you might have gotten from the internet are not going to be in the perspective that you're trying to create. So this is what we're going to do, kiddos. Everybody go ahead and grab your piece of paper. We're going to do this together. We're going to go ahead and start. Now remember, do you guys remember at the beginning of this unit when we were talking about what's good perspective and what's bad perspective as far as composition goes? Who remembers what composition is? It's how you arrange your image so that it looks good, okay? One of the biggest things is never put your horizon line right in the middle. Instead, where do we usually put important things? The rule of thirds. Okay, so for our example here today, I'm going to drop it down slightly from middle. Let's go ahead and put a horizon line in here. And we're just going to sketch. I'm using Sharpie so everyone can see. You're using pencil. And what we're going to do here is notice that this picture that we're looking at, half of it is on the floor and half of it is in the air. This is the most, this view looks like we're in the world with it. This is how it would look when you're walking down the street. Okay, it doesn't look like you're up in a cloud looking down. It doesn't look like you're laying on the floor looking up. You're just walking through life. This is the most realistic walking down the road view. It's also the easiest way to draw. Okay, and this is why. Do you guys remember the exploded view that we did? The exploded house? We had the bottom view, we had the top view, and we had the middle floor. You guys remember that? The middle one was the easiest because we couldn't see the roof and we couldn't see the floor. You guys remember that? This is the easiest view to do perspective, I would say. Okay? Less work. Just something to throw out there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that this is a regular box. We're going to go ahead and draw the first front vertical line. Go ahead and give it a go. And then from the top and bottom, where do we go? Vanishing points. Now again, I'm doing this in Sharpie, and you guys do not need to worry about erasing unless you get confused. But we're just sketching, kiddos. We're just sketching. Now, in this image, which side of the house is longest? The left side or the right side?
Left side.
The left side is longer, so I'm going to make the left side a little bit longer than the right side. And I'm going to cut those off with a vertical line, a straight up and down line. Now, this has a gable roof. Everybody see it? This is the kind of roof we are primed and ready to draw. In order to find that peak, what do we have to draw on the small side? We have to find the middle, okay, by connecting the corners. From the middle, we'll go straight up and down. I recommend you give yourself a healthy height on that. And then go to the corners and beyond. Okay. From the peak, the very tippity top, we're going to go to the left vanishing point. And then we cut off the back with a parallel line. Okay. So here is this house. Okay, if I wanted to, I could put in the details, but I don't really have time for that right now. Okay, everybody got this? So this is like a middle a middle horizon line. Okay, everybody label that, but put like middle-ish. Because it's a rule of thirds. Let's put rule of thirds. You could do this lower or higher, either way. It's like you're walking down the street. It makes sense. All right. Now what we're going to do in this one, we're going to draw the exact same building. But instead, what we're going to do is we're going to do a dramatically high horizon line. Okay? I'm going to put in a vanishing point on either side. And we're just going to go ahead and draw the exact same house. We're going to sketch it. We're going to start with the first closest, most vertical line. Go ahead. I'm going to take the top and bottom to both vanishing points. I'm sketching it as straight as possible. Now notice that the angles on this are wildly more like intense. If you compare it to this one, look at the angle on this front corner. It's way more slanted than over here. Okay, it's making a more intense V. Now I'm gonna put the short side on the right, and I'm gonna put the long side on the left. Now what part of our house are we missing?
Roof.
Missing that roof. So we're going to take the back sides to the opposite vanishing points. That's going to give us the top of our box here. Now we need that gable roof, right? How do I find the middle? With an X. From the very middle, I go straight up. From the peak, I'm going to go to the corners and beyond. From the top, I'm going to go to the left vanishing point to get the top of the roof. The back corner is going to be a parallel line. Then I'm going to finish out that eave. Everybody see it? Now that's exactly what we just drew, but look at how dramatically different that looks. Everybody seeing that? That is dramatically different, okay? So this is a drastic high horizon line. Now, if you were to do the shingles on here, all the shingles would be parallel as well to these lines right here, just FYI. I'm not sure if I told you guys that before. Okay. So, everybody getting the difference between the two? Is exactly the same building, just in this one, we're standing in front of it, and on this one, we're up in the clouds looking down below at it. Everybody's seeing what a dramatic difference where the horizon line is going to lead to your scene. We're going to do one more, okay? We're going to do a drastically low horizon line. We're going to go ahead and put this vanishing point at a horizon line and vanishing points at the bottom. Okay, but this time, don't do anything yet. This time, instead of drawing the house at the bottom, we're gonna draw the house above. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, let me get this back so you can see it. I'm gonna go ahead and draw the same front corner up near the top. I'm gonna take the top and bottoms where? Those vanishing points. Get those as straight as you can. I'm going to make the right side shorter than the left side. Now, what part of our house are we missing right now?
Bottom.
The bottom. Now this is the first time we have been able to see the bottom because it is now above our eye line, which is the horizon line. Okay, so I can see the bottom. Let's get our roof. We're going to connect the opposite corners of the smallest side, get an X. From there we're going to go straight up to the peak. Now I would make it a rather high peak or else you're not going to really be able to see it. Okay? From the peak, you're going to go to the corners and beyond. From the top of the peak, you're going to go down to this vanishing point. Look how squished that looks. And we're going to get a parallel line in the back. Now, what is wrong with this house? Do houses fly? No, this house is suspended in air. Okay, so it could be a magical house because we are doing fantasy, but really, I mean, you could do sci-fi. You could put some like rocket ship parts on the bottom. Maybe it's like whatever. But what you could also do is you could draw this so that it's suspended by something, like maybe there's an old oak tree here, and it is a tree. Everybody getting me? So now it has some support. It looks like it is a tree house. And there you have it. Okay? Well, I mean, can you guys see that? It's pretty dark. Now, let's assess what we like the most. You personally. This one is This is a drastic low horizon. Drastic low horizon line. Okay, how many of you like the walking down the street view the best? It's like face value, straight on. How many of you like looking down at the building where you can really see the roof? How many of you guys enjoy looking up at the building? It could look like it's floating or way up above your eye line, okay? Whichever one you are interested in using for your final, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a dynamic scene, okay? So go ahead and put, don't do it yet, dynamic scene. Now I'm going to show you what I mean. But before I show you what I mean, I'm going to show you a big no-no, okay? Do you remember being a child? When you were a child, you drew your house, and you drew a tree, and you drew your family because you loved them before you knew better. I'm just kidding. All right. Anyway, dark humor. What's wrong with this picture is that they're using the horizon line as a tabletop. Shh. Girls, look up here, please. Risa. All right. You can't draw anything like this because what's actually happening is that none of these things are touching the ground at all. They're hovering right above it. So in order for this to be taking up space on the earth, you have to actually put it on the earth. Okay? So just know that, especially in perspective, this is not a tabletop for you to set things on. Everybody following? Okay? It's got to take up space on the actual planet, or else it is flying. Now, for your dynamic scene, let's go over this. Can everybody go ahead and get out this worksheet? If you were absent last class, I'm going to come around and give you one. Who was absent last class? Last class was kind of a crucial class. Okay. Do you need one? Don't worry, we'll go over it. Alright, everybody did this? Or has this? Anybody need one? Lost one? Okay. Do you need one, Olive? Alright, let's go ahead and just refresh our memory. Last class we went over the project, but then I also gave you some key ideas on what makes for a good dynamic scene. They're up here, but let's go ahead and look. Framing. Put some framing in your image. Use some foliage, or maybe make your image go off the page. So make it like you're doing a quarter of the building, not the entire building, okay? Use your entire space. Don't have large empty areas of just field and wheat. Like, give me a break. This one, the landscape is just as important as the structure that you're building, okay? Now this landscape doesn't feel like anything's empty. It feels like it's full. Even though there are large shapes that don't have a lot of detail, it feels full, okay? No flat horizon lines. I don't want any horizon lines that just look flat. It's terribly boring. Do you see how boring this would be? It's boring. It's like you're in like Kansas alone and there's not even a barn, okay? Flip it over. Make your world look big. You can do that. I could make this building look ginormous if I make a small little door, okay? That's the door. That house just got way bigger than I imagined. Okay? So make sure you use proportion to make it look big. Tell a story. Give it nice details. Consider what horizon line you want and what perspective you're going to put it at. These two, I would say, are pretty dynamic, depending on what you draw around them. All of them can be dynamic, though. Break up the horizon line, give it structures, or give it, mountains or something. Make the sky feel important, like it's a character in your scene. People and creatures bring a scene to life, and consider your shape language. Round things feel kind, nice, and sharp and pointy things feel intimidating, and square things feel blocky. Do with that what you will. And R2 will go more into that. All right, so here's an example. I did this. You guys are going to use this bottom rectangle. I'm going to give you guys 15 minutes right now. You're going to sketch this exact building. I don't want you to do like something crazy. I don't want you to make it into a bridge. We don't have time for you to consider that or to look up a reference, okay? But you're going to take that exact building and you're going to make it look like it's in a dynamic scene, okay? So I broke up the horizon line. I put some mountains. I actually put it in the mountains. I put some more towers. I put a waterfall, put a river zigzagging. The sky is there. You guys feel how it feels more dramatic, more dynamic, okay? This is where you get to play. This is where you get to be creative, and it's low pressure. I'm never gonna even look at it. Okay? Well, I will look at it when I grade this. But like, I'm not looking for whether it's good or bad. I'm looking that you tried. Does that make sense? I'm not gonna come through here with a red marker and correct all of your mistakes. That's not what I'm doing. I just want to see that you're using your imagination and play. Okay? So let's find a way, figure out what horizon line you want to use, and practice sketching with that horizon line. For me, I put mine way down at the bottom. I liked the idea of looking up at the building. Now notice that you can't see the bottom of my building. You can see where it was. Can everybody see where the bottom of the building was right there? But I covered it up with rock. Okay, that rock is not see-through. All right, I'm going to leave this here for you. I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes. And you guys are creating a dynamic scene. While you're doing that, let me just say, you want to think about interesting parts of the earth, whether it be a desert, a canyon, a jungle, a swamp. You could do a forest fairy. You could do like fairy enclosure. You could do an ice world inside of a glacier. You could do, I don't know, just whatever. Think about things that are on the planet, things like rocks and mountains and hills and streams and waterfalls. Yeah. Yes, you're doing it in this bottom rectangle. Just quick, small, and you're sketching. You're just going to, if you prefer to draw large like I did, that's actually what you can use a second piece of paper for that. That's totally fine. I don't care. But you need to staple these together for me. Yeah. Yeah. Kai, would you mind putting 4 erasers on each table, pretty please? They do want them. You guys, this is just a sketch. You don't even need to erase. Just go for it. We don't have time for erasing. No erasers. Never mind. I took it back, Kai. Go ahead and sit down. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, good question. So whatever this is right here is going to be parallel, but it has to go through that back corner. If I took that same line and I put it here, it would look like the roof doesn't go back here. If I put it way back here, it would look like you have a back porch. Yeah. So you just have to make sure that that line is going through that corner.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Yeah, good question.
Oh, maar anders is het zoals Slinky from
All right, I don't want you guys talking. I want you guys imagining and playing in your mind. Hey Siri, set timer for 14 minutes.
14 minutes, starting now.
Yes. genre. Maybe lines or a spiral or like, yeah, something. Maybe Google horns or illustrations of horns. See what other people have done on horns. That's cute. Yeah, it does look kind of naked up there now. Yeah. We got 10 minutes left. For 3 of you brave kids that are really proud of your dynamic scene to show it up here when we're done. Try to give the building some details that look fantasy or sci-fi. You guys have 7 minutes left. Try to use all the time to get as many details in there as you can. If you have time, you could even start shading some stuff with your pencils. How many of you guys are done? Alright, you guys have about 3 minutes left. Alright, you guys, I think we're about ready. A lot of you have kind of stopped. So let's go ahead and make your final marks. Alright, I'm looking for 3 people to share their work. Leah, come on. Bring it here. Who else wants to come? Anybody? Who's feeling brave? La la, we've got a dynamic scene going on right here.
It's gingerbread man.
It's a gingerbread scene.
Yeah.
Very nice. Who else has got one? Good job, Leah. All right, Soren, come on. You want to come? Yeah, you can come. One more if anybody wants one. You don't want to come? Yeah, you can. All right, we've got kind of like a farmhouse or like a fantasy type. Maybe it's a tavern or like a inn. That looks good. Got a nice big tree in the front for some framing. We've got some stuff back here as well. That's a good job. Good job, Soren. Alright. I can take one more if anybody's got one they want to share. Alright, so we've got like some floating houses up here. Alright? And then like some cattle down here. What's this?
It's a hole in a tree.
It's a hole in a tree, so we've got a tree. We've got, are they like chained to the sky? That's pretty interesting. That's pretty creative. That was a good use of imagination. Well done, Kaden. Alright, so Brisa, bring it. Last one and then we'll move on. Like, let me see. Thank you. Okay, Brisa went for the whole situation. Got a person in there helping with the scene and the perspective. We've got a castle on the back, maybe like a farmhouse or a church maybe on the front. We can see some water. The sky is there. That is a great dynamic scene. Good job, Brisa. All right. Right now, what I want everyone to do is to take out their fantasy perspective brainstorming worksheet. Those of you that were not here last class, raise your hand one more time and I will bring it around to you. If you are watching this on Schoology, you can find it in the Schoology app. Anybody else? Last call? Okay, so some of you guys noticed that you have a 0 in Aries, and that is because this is due right now. Okay? I gave you guys this last class and told you guys if you wanted to have a 4 out of 4, that it would be, or a 5 out of 5, it would be on time right now, ready to go, with 1, 2 printed, and 3 drawn. Okay? How many of you are 100% ready to turn this in right now? Amazing. That is one person. Those of you on camera, there is one person prepared for life. Well done, Ava. Okay, so what we're going to do here today is we're going to do it really quickly together. We're all going to cheat and help each other. Are you ready? Yes, we are. What do we want to do, kids? Sci-fi or fantasy? That's what everyone wants to do. Fantasy. What kind of story could be told in this world? A love story, horror, destruction, adventure. Someone say something. Mystery. Ooh, mystery. What else? Revenge. Ooh, I like it.
Adventure.
Adventure.
Heartbreak.
Let's do love.
I feel like salami could be a mood.
It's not a mood. Thank you. Yes, Caden. Oh my goodness. Less of the food. All right. Why don't we steal from me? We could do horror. And we could do what kind of think of like hunger. Hunger, the Hunger Games, the Hunger Story. Okay, whatever. All right, types of possible man-made structures. What you guys got?
Castle. Lab.
Castle. What?
Mad lab.
A what?
An evil lab.
A lab.
Viking building.
A Viking building.
Cattle boat.
A cattle boat? Oh, paddle boat. That's cool. So that would be a castle. Now we're thinking about fantasy. We could do a bridge.
Stable.
We could do a stable. That looks good. Okay. Types of possible landscapes that will reflect the emotional vibe of the story. So it's asking at this point, what type of story do we want to tell? We kind of have to make a decision here.
Dead meadow.
Are we going with mystery, revenge, love, adventure?
Revenge, love, horror combined.
Revenge and love. I love it. Okay. I can't. Do we really end horror? Sure. Okay. All right. Possible landscapes.
A dead meadow.
A death meadow?
A dead meadow.
A dead meadow. What about a swamp? That sounds eerie. It could be. What could be? Yeah. Sorry.
Abandoned castle.
Oh, abandoned castle. That is like a Shrek situation. We could do. What about like a last class we did something. What was it? It was like a. I have it right here. I don't know. Never mind. Like a temple, like a dilapidated. What do you call it? A ruin? Hayden? Okay, think about it. Sword.
Sinking ship.
Ooh, sinking ship. This is like Rose and what's his name?
Jack.
That's it. Kate, did you think of it? Okay, let's steal one. Let's put a cliff. What? Like, that's like a Romeo and Juliet situation, maybe. Okay. All right, what kind of details can make your drawing look like it's from fantasy? Because we chose fantasy. I'm gonna put fire and magic. So I forgot the A. What else could make it feel like it's old-timey?
Unnatural.
Moss and fog. I like that. And we're thinking of maybe like a sinking ship, or maybe we're thinking about a swamp. Those might be some fun ideas. So details that could make it look like it's made of fantasy, maybe stones. Like everything back then was made with stone or brick, not with like concrete or metal. What else? Cobwebs. That sounds good. Okay. Types of materials your structures could be made out of. So stone and wood for sure for old timey, right? What else? Brick?
Bones.
Ooh,
Like the things in
bones.
France.
That could go good for horror-y stuff. That's a good one. That's like, kind of reminds me of the like old places where they bury dead people. Okay. At this point, which I'm not going to do right now, but at this point, you would need to look up 3 fantasy or sci-fi buildings and 3 fantasy or sci-fi landscapes. Okay? You need to print those out. That is due right now. So if you don't have it, you're going to end up only having a few minutes to work on it. So right now, if you finish it during this class, you can get a 4 out of 5. Next class you come in here, the highest you can get is a 3 out of 5. Everybody feeling me? We are out of time. Usually, if like that many people don't do their homework, I'm like, what's another day? We don't have another day. What we got is finals and then summer break, and I'm not waiting for no one. All right? All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do some quick sketches. We've got, what were we doing? A sunken ship. I don't know what a sunken ship looks like, but it's half underwater. Rose on the Titanic. You know what I'm saying. We've got an iceberg back here. Whatever. I've got a fake thumbnail. Okay. What was another one of our ideas? We could do like a bayou, like a swamp with those big swampy trees. You know what I'm saying? You could do like, oh, maybe there's like someone floating in the lilies. It's all romantic, but then someone's sneaking up behind.
It's like the Little Mermaid, you know, the eels?
Yes. So there's a girl here and she's laying down, but then maybe something horrible's coming from behind. We just don't know. Okay? So at this point, you would do 3. You're going to tell me this is definitely rule of thirds. We've got the horizon line here. We've got the main thing on a third as well. This one right here, it's the same exact composition, but on opposite corners, because I'm brilliant like that. Whatever, you might have another one where something's in the middle and you've got something balancing it on either side, and that would be what? Something's in the middle and it's balanced on symmetry. Okay? Whatever. Then the focal point on this one would be the ship. Focal point here would be the girl. Emotional vibe is giving up, baby. This one would be betrayal. This one, I don't know because I didn't think about it. Okay? At this point, how many of you have thumbnails ready to go? There are a few of you. Now, at this point, what you're going to do is you're going to get your second white piece of paper, and you guys are going to sketch out this scene. You're not going to use a ruler. You're going to sketch it out life size. We're going to use just regular cardstock for these, okay? Because we're kind of out of time. I was going to have you guys do this bigger, but we ain't got time for that. All right, so we're going to do a regular size piece of paper. So right now, if you are done with 1, 2, and 3 and you're ready to check it off, you're going to get full points. You're going to line up right here by my desk. The rest of y'all need to get this done right now. If you can get it done and printed during this class, we have 20 minutes before the bell rings. You can print it in the office because my printer's not working. Then you could get 4 out of 5. Those of you that don't turn it in until next class, the best you can get is a 3 out of 5. If you need the class next class to actually do this, you're going to get a 2 out of 5, and after that is a permanent stinking 0. All right? Our goal here today is to sketch out your dynamic scene. All right, your final dynamic scene, real size. Everybody understand what's going on? What's your question?
I tried calling the office everywhere and it just didn't work.
So then what I would do is email it to Martha Mendoza and sweet talk her and ask her. But you guys, where other than the office in my room can you guys print things? Home.
The
But
library.
you could go to the library. You could also go to your advisor is who I recommend. So you could email it to your advisor and ask them to print it for you. The thing is that I cannot take, I have 200 and something kids and I am not printing for all 200 of them. I won't be able to even find my emails. You know what I'm saying? So I only print for my advisory from my actual computer, okay? Or else it clogs up my email stream. So you can talk to Martha if she loves you and she has time. She loves everyone. But if you have time, if she has time, she might be able to print for you.
Ask Coffin.
Also, your study hall classes you can print in, and whatever other teacher's willing. Alyssa. Yes, it is phones time, but not for texting. It is Pinterest time. All right, if you guys are done, come on over. Let's do it.